Hey guys, Drifter here. You may have noticed right off the bat that something is different about this gameplay. You probably saw it in the thumbnail, or you're looking at it now. Yes, I do have akimbo suppressed M1911 pistols, and yes, I'm doing quite good work with them. I just got back from spending a day or two at Sledgehammer Games playing all the new DLC 2 maps. Thank you to Activision for flying me out there. But more importantly, I got to play on the new reworked and rebalanced Call of Duty World War II. There has been almost a complete rework of the way the divisions work, perks, classes, and all that sort of stuff that has completely changed the meta of the game, which is what I want to talk about today. And also, you may see the new rifle grenade attachments, which are kind of like noob tubes, and I tried to kill people with them, but they're not very good, so please do excuse that noobery. And when it comes to the amount of stuff that's reworked, it's difficult to even find a starting point, but I'm going to try, and I think the best place is going to be with divisions. The division system has been almost entirely reworked. You no longer get a gun perk like the bayonet, the bipod, incendiary shells, tactical knife, holding your breath, or anything like that. The division-specific weapon attachments are completely removed, and instead you now get those attachments as regular attachments on any gun of its type in any division. So I can, for instance, run an assault rifle in the Expeditionary division, and I can put a bayonet on it if I want to. Or if I want to run Airborne and I still want my incendiary shells from Expedition, I can just equip them like any other attachment. And the 4 division skills have also been reworked quite significantly, with the heaviest reworks being on Armored, Expeditionary, which was the least popular, and Resistance as well. Some of you might be saying to yourselves, okay, well now that these are broken off of the divisions, doesn't that mean I just have to waste an attachment slot in order to have my same classes? And the answer is no, because every class now gets an extra attachment slot on their primary weapons and an extra attachment slot on the secondary weapons, so there's just lots of extra attachment slots to go around. And all guns are going to be pretty much loaded up now because of that. I mean, you can still run infantry and you can still run other perks that give you up to 4 attachments, but with 3 by default, there's a lot more extended mags, there's a lot more optical attachments, and there's a lot more variety in guns instead of people trying to pick, well, what can I live without? But without any further ado, let's talk about the changes that have been made to each division. We'll do the 4 simplest ones first: Infantry, Airborne, Armored, and Mountain. Infantry got a free pistol attachment along with the free rifle attachments, and you get to swap weapons faster. This one got overall the least amount of changes. It was just like remove the bayonet, and now you get a free pistol attachment and you can swap weapons faster. Airborne kind of got hustle built into it and an additional speed boost. In the Airborne division, you can now reload while sprinting, so it's essentially just hustle but without the additional speed, and you sprint faster over time, so the longer you sprint, you build up momentum and run faster and faster up to a cap. Now, Armored did receive a somewhat significant rework, but maybe not as crazy as some of the others. The bipod is removed, but you got 2 things instead. You get free FMJ on all guns. It'll read as additional bullet penetration, but it's just FMJ. So your light machine guns, your sniper rifles, your pistols, anything you run on this class will have FMJ by default, and you get free flinch reduction with every single weapon as well. So I believe that was the primed perk. So in the Armored division, you just get free FMJ and way less flinch than any other class, and that is a significant rework considering the fact that this class had a lot of resistances as well. Resistance to tactical grenades, resistance to explosions, resistance to fired, and I think this is by far one of the strongest divisions now. The Mountain division got overall a very slight rework. You no longer show enemy death icons, and you stay hidden, and you get no red name for enemies. Nothing crazy there. But let's talk about Expeditionary and Resistance. I think Expeditionary got the biggest overall rework. When you load into Expeditionary, if you've maxed your class out and you've got all 4 of the free perks, you now get double tacticals and lethals that by default throw further and throw faster. You have what is called, in quotes, improved tacticals, which to my understanding is tacticals that have additional radius and range on them, and it's easier to destroy or build war items. So you can just take down war walls or build the war walls much faster with the Expeditionary class. And finally, equipment damage tags enemies on the minimap. Bullet damage will not, but any of your stun grenades will tag enemies on the minimap just like the perk Recon. So for this class, they've essentially rolled in Saboteur and Recon and the ability to be a little bit more of a team player in the war mode, and it got a very, very big overhaul. You no longer have to take the fire shells, and I think that most of the shotguns are probably better without them anyway, so that's kind of nice. You can use your attachments somewhere else. A lot of shotguns I'm running triple attachments on now. Super, super easy, super fun. And let's move on to Resistance. Resistance got some interesting changes. First of all, you get Modern Warfare 3's Sitrep Pro, at least the footstep half of it. By default in the Resistance class, enemy footsteps are now much louder and they are much easier to hear. And I didn't run the Resistance class a whole lot, but even at the DLC event, I could hear them a little bit better. And also, when you kill an enemy, you get a ping on the map where they died that can ping other enemies, kind of like some older perks from, I believe it was Advanced Warfare, if I'm not mistaken. But kills and even assists grant enemy pings, which show you on your minimap where the other enemies are, giving you additional vision and things like that. You also get the bigger minimap with the Resistance class, so a pretty significant workaround there, and of course no tactical knife, that's just a default pistol attachment. Another big change to the entire meta of the game is that all characters in all classes with all weapon sets now have unlimited sprint. J-Hub was saying that he was feeling some changes. He felt like sluggish, he was running slower or something. I think it was just an unfamiliar environment because I talked to the developers and there have been no changes to the base movement speeds at all, but we now just get unlimited sprint, which I think is a good change, and it overall speeds up the pace of the game. There have been 2 perks added to this game that are going to really change up the meta very significantly. Number 1, and most significantly, is the Blitzkrieg perk, which no longer grants you score streaks. Instead, you trade those out for kill streaks. You get your streaks based only on the amount of kills you can chain together, and you get an additional score streak. So you can have a 4th score streak as well. However, in this class, capturing flags, getting assists, objectives, hill time, nothing else gets you score or kill streaks whatsoever. It's literally only based on kills. I kind of wish it was like Modern Warfare 3 where capping a flag or every 2 or 3 assists or doing an objective thing would give you some point toward your OBJ play. Unfortunately, it doesn't, or even kind of like if you ran the hardline perk equivalent in this game, then every 2 assists would be worth 1 kill or something like that. But Blitzkrieg is a very big game changer because it adds a very old school mechanic back into a new game. It's really fun. It rewards players that want to just slay instead of control the objectives. Unfortunately, I do think this will lead to a little bit less objective play from some teammates, but for people that desire those old school challenges of getting kills and racking up your streaks, it's going to be really fun. And of note, the kills that you get with your streaks don't count. It's gun kills only. The other perk that's going to make a big change is called Clandestine. Or is it Clandestine? It's a word I only ever read. However, what it does is when you kill an enemy, they drop scavenger bags. They're like big blue duffel bags. They're not quite like the little bags, but they're very big and visible. When you run over one of these bags and pick it up, it pings the entire area to reveal enemies on the minimap around that death. So if you're running a run and gun class like pistols, submachine guns, shotguns, and you run over bodies as you kill people, you will very quickly ping the map around you and have very good situational awareness. I'm not sure if this shares with your team's minimap or not. On top of this, you also get 1 free ping on spawn. I believe this one is to help prevent spawn killing. So as soon as you spawn in, you get an instant ping around your location that reveals enemies in a fairly short radius, and nobody can sneak up on you. I think you're going to see a lot of people running this, and there's going to be a lot of times when your teammates die and enemies know exactly where you are and they come kill you. The new rifle grenade attachment is kind of like a very bad noob tube. My recommendation is that you just don't use it. I didn't have fun using it. I didn't kill people using it. I had to be incredibly accurate with it. Anytime that I could have got a kill with this, I could have got a kill just using my regular gun anyway, but I think they added it just for funsies. I do miss having bayonets by default on my assault rifles in the infantry class, but I think free new attachments are better. Bipod, hold breath, suppressor, all of that stuff are now just default for all the other classes. You can put them all in any gun, and it's great too. It's really fun. It's just kind of how things should be. Overall, I think this is a very good rework that increases the pace of the game. It changes the meta. However, it does shift more toward armored being one of the best divisions to use, especially with the addition of extra grenades. However, with other people having extra grenades, which is another thing I forgot, you get tacticals and lethals on every class now, so a lot more grenades. But with more grenades, that means more ways to blow up armored users. However, it is harder for other non-resistance heavy classes, and Blitzkrieg is great, one of my favorites. Guys, that's all for this video. I hope you learned something useful, and I hope to see you on the new and rebalanced World War II sometime soon. Drifter out.
Hardpoint is being overrun. Need reinforcements. Hardpoint location confirmed. Enemy holds the hardpoint. Hardpoint is in enemy hands. Hardpoint is being overrun. Need reinforcements. Hardpoint is in enemy hands. Enemy recon aircraft in the air. Hardpoint is being overrun. Need reinforcements. Hardpoint is in our hands. We carried the day.